In an ideal world, all the gravel that you place and pack would end up on grade, but that is not the case. Finishing work is mostly what we refer to as subtractive, which means that you should overbuild your project just slightly and then trim it down to grade. The just slightly part is the kicker. Note, this video does not apply to highway spec. In that case, you are dumping gravel tons per meter, but highway spec is for a different video. I've always said the key to finishing is to rough it in so close that there is very little to do when it comes to finishing. Now, you can have a 3-person grading crew working close to the grader as you are dumping trucks and placing gravel, but there is a downside to that. You need 3 people plus another person dumping trucks, and it can be an unsafe area for the grading crew to work. Knowing that your slope meter is calibrated, this is what I usually do. For example, if the finished street is 100 mils of asphalt and the finished quarter crown is about a 5% slope, the finished crown area is about a 2.5% slope, I will rough the edge in along the curb at 80 millimeters instead of 100, and rough in the quarter crown area at 3% instead of 5%. Once it is packed, you can cut the gutter down to 100 mils. The extra gravel that you generate from cutting the gutter should bring the quarter crown up to 5%, or overbuilding it slightly to 6%. The quantity of gravel can turn out pretty close using this procedure if luck is on your side. Or you can use the Teresa method, which is coming up in the next clip. By the way, another benefit of using the Teresa method is that if 6 trucks come in all at once, which usually does happen, you can dump them in 2 different segments, as long as the dumper keeps track of where the trucks are dumping. Also, Teresa is very precise when it comes to measuring these segments and deciding how many trucks go in each segment, adjusting on the fly for end dumps or wagons. So Teresa, let's talk about, okay, you drew this nice little map there of the job. You nicely drew it out.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah, okay.
What I do is I draw out the job, and then I measure off to see different sections. So in every section, I can know how much gravel to bring in. So when I know how much gravel to bring in per section, I only bring that tonnage in, so you're not worried about bringing in too much gravel. And so there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 zones that we're going to bring the gravel into. And so the grade people know, the person dumping the trucks knows that from here to here, this is how many trucks you need to go there. So I haven't figured that out yet. What I'll do is I'll calculate the berms and the road, how much I want on the road. And then this information goes to the person dumping the trucks. And then at the end of the day, everything's pretty much on grade.
So it really helps me as a grader operator, keeping track of these, how much gravel is coming in, like per section, so to speak, really helps me, because basically you don't need a grade crew checking your grade when you're dumping your gravel, because you pretty well know that it's pretty close to grade if you've got that many trucks in that zone or that segment. So it's very helpful. It's a good way to do it. It's a real good way to not go over on gravel or not get all your gravel down on one end, and you got to haul it all the way to the other end and stuff like that. So it really saves on time doing it that way. I really appreciate that.
And then you're not moving your gravel from one end of the job to the other. And with trails, I'll figure out how many meters one truck should go, and I'll take a wheel and then draw a line. And when that truck gets to that line, the next truck can start. And that's how we do a trail.
Yeah, it gets your quantities more or less right, you know, gets them a lot closer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very beneficial to do it this way.
Especially on trails. If you have too much gravel, it just spills out over the sides, and then it's too much work.
How long does it take you to do something like this, to figure out the quantities of dumping gravel and to do this?
Maybe an hour, including drawing the picture, doing the measurements, and then figuring out the quantities per section. I think it takes about an hour, but it saves hours in the end.
Yep, and it actually saves a whole grade crew in their grading behind the grader that's roughing it in. You don't have to worry that you're getting overgrade all the time or getting too much or too little gravel in some area. So it kind of completely saves on a grade crew. It really does.
And the grade crew can do something else. Like this PUL will be done by a skid steer. So that grade crew can be working with the skid steer to get this PUL done while the rest is doing the rest this.
Yeah, I think it's really beneficial to do it. And like I say, like Teresa says, the person who's dumping the trucks has to keep track of how many trucks are going in a certain area. And if they do that, it seems to work out pretty good.
Yep.
To create these videos, I am using footage that I shot on the job site last summer. If you find these videos helpful or interesting, please like and subscribe. If you have some input, please leave a comment below.